So, Clownfish TV just did a video covering this article from The Gamer, written by that smug prick Mike Drucker. This clown. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Saladino.
Dreams what I'm chasing, flow hot as chafing. This is why I'm hot, no, that is why I'm blazing.
So the article is titled, Why Even Make Video Games Anymore? It mainly talks about how being a passionate games developer who loves making video games, you often have to work in an industry run by greedy, exploitative corporations and CEOs and upper management that don't care about the worker or video games. They just care about profits, and so the decisions they make are not in the best interest of the workers or the games. Very simple, obvious stuff. Too often, the people who love the art form have to suffer under the people who don't care about it at all, but they know how to exploit it for money. And as an artistic person, as somebody who's creative, who has imagination, who actually loves the medium, you have to deal with these exploitative practices that undercut everything that you do. And even if you try to go indie, there's still a whole host of challenges there. Like if you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you don't have the money to just start your own company. You're going to have to work on your spare time while also having a day job and yada, yada, yada. And that's fine. All that stuff about this article is fine. There's not much to argue with Drucker on those points. Besides his really annoying, smug writing style. He writes like he's the popular sitcom neighbor who delivers all of his lines while mugging for the audience, just waiting for them to respond to the laugh and applause signs. It's weird. It's like he does this thing, well, golly, Jimbo, I didn't know you could wear spaghetti as a necktie. And then it mugs for the camera, and then the audience goes, ha 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 ha, and applause and all this nonsense, and you're supposed to sit there for 2 minutes and wait for it to end. Drucker's not funny, and not only that, he's not witty, but he thinks he's both, and it's extremely off-putting. I don't often think of men as insufferable, but Mike Drucker is insufferable. And that brings me to this point in this article. And I'm not even touching on the fun times that video game workers have when weirdos online get mad about some fictional character's chin or a robot's ass. Because video game workers are far closer to the ground than the business executives. They're the ones who get the most harassment for whatever grift that takes center stage that week. I'm sure being a character designer is a blast every time some podcaster in his 50s sends people to attack them for not giving some digital broad perfect gazongas. Imagine this going on, and mergers and acquisitions making the future of your career a giant Riddler-sized question mark. This is, plainly and simply, bullshit. No one is sending people to harass character designers. Most of the time, we don't even know who's actually designing these characters. We just know it's Sweet Baby Ink types obsessed with DEI and the male gaze. And this bullshit about attacking them for not giving some digital broad perfect gazongas is not what's happening at all. Even if you want to say Drucker is just exaggerating for effect, it's beyond exaggeration. It's literally not what is happening. It's not the argument. And the thing is, they keep calling YouTubers who are calling out DEI grifters. And I just said this in a recent video. They're calling the people who actually love and care about this stuff, who are telling devs and studios that they're hurting their business pushing this woke agenda in popular AAA games. They're calling those people the grifters, not the people who invaded the space and is using the medium just to push their politics down everyone's throats while making Spider-Man games about deaf girls and trans-friendly women, replacing the original white character with the inferior black version, and going so far as to have the OG character, the world-famous icon, tell the token version that the token is better. Miles literally has no classic stories, no classic runs. Everything he is comes from Peter Parker, but declaring him the real Spider-Man is genuine and true, and calling it out as bullshit, that's the grift. Now, this is like the second or third article Drucker has written of late using gaming industry layoffs to attack gamers. Because video game workers are far closer to the ground than the business executives, they're the ones to get the most harassment for whatever grift takes center stage that week. Again, Nobody is harassing these assholes. All you have to do is make fun of MJ's chin, and you have a bunch of community managers come out of the woodworks, along with the journals like Drucker, attacking fans for not accepting these ugly-ass female character designs. And the thing is, none of the people who defend this shit can tell you why you have to accept it. So, you have two types of defenders. On one hand, you have the gaslighters, who say things like, "She's fine. She looks fine. There's nothing wrong with her looks. You just don't know what a real woman looks like. You Nazi incel. You've never touched a woman before. What do you know?" Then you have to suffer people like Jim Sterling, telling you you don't know what a real woman is. And on the other hand, you have the people with enough self-awareness to at least realize how stupid it sounds to say, "Oh, she looks fine," when clearly she doesn't look fine. But still, they don't have enough self-awareness to just not say anything, to just let it go, let people complain and not say anything. Those people, they go, "Oh, it's the technology. It's just not good enough to scan these women. Video games are hard." Never mind all the examples of studios, especially Eastern studios, that do this just fine. Never mind Western studios that have no problem doing it for the male characters. No, it's the technology that's the problem. And all of you gamers complaining about ugly women in Western games, you're the problem with the industry. You're the real problem. The insane thing about this is that Mike Drucker writes for a website, a gaming site, that has done more harm to the games industry than any YouTuber complaining about deliberately uglified women in video games. If Warner Bros. Had listened to the assholes at The Gamer and canceled Hogwarts Legacy because of trans bullshit, which has nothing to do with video games, Warner Bros. Would have missed out on the biggest game of 2023. It was bigger even than Call of Duty. And imagine that. Imagine how much money they'd have lost alongside the miserable failure of Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. The Hogwarts Legacy studio would have been shut down and all those devs fired. Just like they fired Troy Levitt because of game journals who went after him because he made videos calmly arguing against Anita Sarkeesian's feminist ideology, which literally has nothing to do with games or gaming. No one at The Gamer gave two shits about Levitt losing his job. Nor would they have cared about all the money wasted if Warner Brothers listened to them and canceled the game and fired all their workers. Stacey Henley, the main person at The Gamer, literally defended people attacking gamers for streaming Hogwarts Legacy. You have a man, pretending to be a woman, dismissing a real woman's tears after sociopaths online who pretend to be victimized by society. They say, "Oh, every day is a threat to our lives," and people like J.K. Rowling say that there's a difference between men and women, and that women can't become men, and men can't become women. That's their big thing, that they're such victims of society. Yet they have no problem boldly attacking people and talking all kinds of shit to them. Like, if you really felt that your life was in danger just for existing, you wouldn't be talking so much shit and going after people so brazenly. You're literally antagonizing everyone online who doesn't agree with you, but we're supposed to believe you're in danger as soon as you walk out the door. Oh, it's just a cis white woman who cried. Who cares? But meanwhile, care about me because I think I'm a woman. And if you don't think I'm a woman, I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to destroy you and anyone who likes anything you do, even if it doesn't have anything to do with why I don't like the person who doesn't agree with me. Stacey Henley is a piece of shit. And so is Mike Drucker. The difference between them, though, is that Henley is very self-aware of what gamers are saying when we complain about this stuff. Mike Drucker, on the other hand, is always on his high horse, smugly declaring how much better and more enlightened he is than all the chuds online. It's not connected to reality. No one seriously believes that finding women attractive, no matter what age you are, is weird. Gaming is a visual medium. There's an entire history of beautiful female icons in gaming. What dev studios have been doing deliberately, on purpose, is making ugly, unattractive women, and yet making them the main characters in video games, and then getting mad when people tell them to stop. So, For Mike Drucker, in this scenario where he's talking about YouTubers complaining about deliberately uglified women gaming studios have been putting out over the past however many years, they're the weirdos. The weirdos are not the studios who are scanning legitimately attractive women into their computers and then deliberately going in and making those women ugly and manly, shrinking their boobs, flattening their asses, taking away their feminine hip sway so it looks like they're walking or running with a stick up their ass. All that's fine. That's perfectly normal and reasonable. It serves gaming somehow. No, the real weirdos are the people who complain about this. Yet, if an Eastern game comes out with hot women, like Stellar Blade or The First Descendant, game journals, cancel pigs, Western devs do everything in their power to hurt the game. They try to get it canceled. They write hit pieces. They harass gamers. Drucker never once mentioned this in his article. He doesn't talk about the cancel pigs online who spend their time attacking studios for bullshit like cultural appropriation, representation, body positivity, all these stupid feminist nonsense talking points. There's an entire atmosphere, cancel culture, created and fostered by people like Anita Sarkeesian and journos at The Gamer. This thing where Drucker is acting like character designers want to create these ugly ass women, like it's their artistic choice, is absurd. A lot of why we have 50-year-old YouTubers and podcasters complaining about this stuff is because gaming companies are putting it in there at the behest of people who don't care about video games. They don't play them. They only think about them in relation to the straight white male fan base that they hate. Drucker doesn't even mention that. To him, it's just chuds who want women with perfect tits. People are not buying games because the games are not giving people what they want. If you're doing something that your audience is telling you not to do, why are you surprised that your games are failing and that you have to lay people off? Just listen and accept what gamers are telling you. Instead, you idiots get mad and call us all the usual buzzwords. For some reason, gamers are supposed to have some kind of social obligation to play games that activists make that have nothing to do with why gamers get into the hobby. Gamers don't play games to save the world. Gamers play games because they enjoy playing video games.
Who the fuck said to speak, Mr. Me, Siamese? Even Christ said Christ, he flows quite nicely. Hype beats highly likely to bite me and try to high-five me, but I just give him high threes, cause y'all don't get to touch me on this shit. Sue me if you got an issue, grab a tissue. Mediocrity is odd to me,